folks. Welcome to another recap of the Traitors. A couple of announcements really quick. We released a Southern Charm recap with Rebecca. We are in the final couple of weeks, I guess 4 or 5 weeks before we give birth, or she gives birth, and I just watch like an idiot. So check out our Southern Charm recap. We did Beverly Hills on Friday. And also, I want to give a plug to a player from the Traitors who sent me his new book that comes out May 5th. The Tribe and I Have Spoken, Rob Sesternino, and Survivor Season 50 comes out this next week. I can't wait to watch this. I know Bergie can't wait to watch this, but let's welcome our co-host, Carsten Bergersen. How you doing, man?
I'm doing absolutely fantastic. This is week 1 of 2 of midterms. So next week I get midterms until Wednesday, and then I'm on spring break.
Oh, man. So you're stressed about midterms. I'm stressed about the final episode of The Traitors and the beginning of... So we both have things that we're stressed about. Bergie.
I'm stressed about both of those things. Midterms and The Traitors right now.
Well, actually, this is interesting. Like, so when you study for midterms, what is your study process? Are you like a 24-hour a day? I wake up, I study. What do you do?
It's kind of like... So PT school is already rigorous enough where I'm at school probably from like 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. just because we have like after school patients that we see too. And then I get home, have dinner, and it's already like 7:30. So then I study as much as I can for like the next 2 hours and go to bed so I can get 8 hours of sleep. I think having 8 hours of sleep is so
You get
important.
your body allows you to sleep 8 hours?
Well, okay.
You're still in your You're still in your
Yeah.
20s. You can do that. Yeah.
Yeah, like I get like 7 to 6 probably on an average night.
Damn, dude.
Yeah.
That's I woke up 2 times last night, and each time I woke up, I stayed up for like 45 minutes each time.
Well, you're gonna be ready for the baby.
Yeah, I'm sleep training right now for the baby. Before we get into the Traitors, isn't it exciting that Survivor Season 50 is coming out? Like, I really am excited about this season of Survivor. Will you be? I mean, I think I'm really excited to. I hope a bunch of new people start watching Survivor again, even though I know this celebrates the last 49 seasons of Survivor. I hope people get into this season.
I do too. I'm actually really looking forward to it. And the person that is looking forward to the most is that I know is my grandma. My grandma has watched every season of Survivor. Sorry, I had something in my throat. I'm going to clear it here.
You're about to cry. You're about
No,
to cry.
I'm not going to cry.
It sounds
I'm
like,
not about to
wow,
cry about
my
Survivor
grandma.
But the thing is, so my mom passed away in 2004, but she was the one that introduced Survivor to my grandma. And now my grandma has watched every Survivor season with, because it was like one of the first things that my mom got my grandma to watch with her. So she's still watching.
Is she Grandma what is she, Grandma Bergersen? Who is she? Grandma?
She's Grandma like Tova Lund. She's from Denmark actually too. So
oh wow.
I have a lot of crazy stories. But if anybody could play Survivor in my family, I would want my grandma to do it. But she's like 75. I don't think she could do well 40 days.
I gotta tell you, she'd do better on the challenges than I. But I'm probably I'm right around your grandma's age. I feel right now, so we could probably make one. I don't know, but I'm really excited. So make sure that's on your radar, you guys, before we start this. This week's episode was incredibly infuriating. I've watched it now a couple of times. I mean, I thought there were elements that were completely boring. There were elements that were thrilling. There were elements that and I think at this point in the game, it kind of gets down to there is a little bit of a lag in these later episodes just because the dynamic, I don't mean dynamic players, but I mean dynamic personality players are out of the game. So that excitement level there's an exhaustion, I think, at this point, a little bit. With the players and with the audience.
Definitely. Do you want to check your mic audio real quick?
Yeah. Hold on a second.
Yeah.
Okay, hopefully we fix that. So back to the game, it's like these later episodes, a lot of I think there's an exhaustion level. How did you feel about it?
I thought this was the most infuriating episode as well. Just from a faithful aspect, like we know who the traitors are as an audience. And sometimes, like, especially when like, I'm going to say Tara, like right off the bat, like it was so hard to watch for this episode. Like she had a gut instinct, but then she didn't do anything to support her instinct when it mattered. Like she got to the round table and then she just sat there and was completely silent and was letting Natalie do all the work. And that really aggravated me a little bit. And I'm not like, I understand it's a stressful situation, but it sometimes sucks to see like you not back up your opinions that you've been stating all day. So that was really infuriating for me to watch.
At this point, I mean, Tara and Johnny Weir are, they're at the Olympics right now and they're doing coverage of the Olympics. I feel at this point, I could, like, if I was there and I got the silver medal in like the ice skating thing, I bet I could convince Tara to give me the gold. Tara is so shakeable and she's so flappable. And it's so frustrating because she was right. She was the first one to mention Rob, but it shows what a lack of obliviousness and confidence is a talent in this game. And she seems like she has neither at this point. And so she is second guessing herself. And so this game is now turned into a game of complete paranoia where you can convince anybody of anything. And even though it's obvious to us, the audience, this is where and the other thing that doesn't help Tara out is that her and Johnny are out loud saying, we are going to vote with each other. No matter what, I will wait for what Johnny votes for. And Johnny says, I will wait to see who Tara votes for. And they are a voting bloc. And the fact that they announced that, I know that they're relieved that they announced that they're best friends. They've won the Friendship Olympics, but it doesn't help in this game because then you can use, then you know who your enemy is. If I'm a traitor, I know I've got to split them up at this point.
Yes, but I'm curious what Rob is going to do because Rob. We can also talk about Rob this episode because I see a lot of people online saying like, "Oh yeah, now he is overreacting." I'm like, no, this is just Rob being Rob. I think we were talking about it last week too. Like Rob has never been like questioned yet, and I think his name getting brought up in the car, like, "Hey, people are coming after you, Rob." I think he got really shaken up, and like that's what was causing him to have like the outrage at the challenge. It's like that's who Rob is, and I think if this pressure was applied earlier, he would have showed more signs of being a traitor. But since he was like so laid back about it, he didn't really feel like he had to do anything. And now the paranoia is setting in for Rob. I think.
Oh yeah, I mean, I don't think
paranoia.
I truly believe he is. I mean, like, listen, I've seen so much discourse around the Traitors, and for as many people that like Rob, I see a good amount of people that don't like Rob at all. And I understand. I understand. Like, it's like you don't sometimes want to celebrate a dude that is going against all of these people and a dude that like is as good looking as Rob is as kind of nonchalant as Rob is. But you also have to leave a little room that he is being honest, that this is hard for him. And I'm not saying like the Ballad of Rob here, wah, but you have to like, it does suck. Like, I truly believe he likes Maura. I truly believe he probably wants to make out with Maura at some point. But at the same time, I do think it eats him up knowing that he will have to backstab Maura at some point, and that one will hurt. And it's because he knows it's going to hurt Maura. And I will say, though, Rob, the one thing you have to give him credit for is that at that round table, he stayed out of his own way. He let them eat each other alive. He, Natalie and Tara did all the work for him. Like all he had to do was just step out, and he did. And Natalie and Tara just went after each other after they were on the right track. And they're so paranoid at this point that you would think the next episode that the rest of them would be like, it's got to be Rob. But I don't think they're going to be like that.
I don't think so either. But I also wonder, do you think Natalie was just, I don't want to say she just pointed the finger back at Tara just because she didn't back Natalie up and she knew she was getting banished? Like, I feel like Natalie could have still felt like it was more of Rob than Tara, but she voted for Tara just because she was so mad that Tara wasn't helping her out at the table. That's what I felt like that vote was. It wasn't Natalie not thinking it was Rob.
And I really hate that Natalie made that move because Natalie, and this is a form of gameplay, like Natalie is an aggressive player. She's an aggressive player. Sometimes in the past, we've seen that she has gone against the team or she said things like, Rob, tell him you have the dagger. Or earlier in the game, what did she did something else. She plays a very game and then realizing in this episode that you really need people. You need people to trust you. You need people to like get along with. And like, Natalie, like, man, what a game player. Like, what a fierce game player. And so I totally respect that. But what I hate is that just like her Achilles heel is anger, and I understand that you would feel anger in that situation, but to put it back on Tara, she could have gone out swinging and saying, my gut is Rob. Tara, I don't know what this is right now. I don't know if you were recruited, but my gut is Rob. We had it set, and I know we're right. And that could have been her swan song, and she could have gone out she still went out great, but she could have gone out in a better way. It's just that she's such a forceful player. And I think in a lot of situations that would work. Like in another version of the Traitors, she would go all the way to the end, but you can just tell like she wants to win this thing and she's going to go down swinging. Even her telling Johnny, like, don't fucking apologize to me, Johnny. Don't say you're sorry after you reveal my name. Like that's like, it just like you would tell she takes this personally, which is exciting to watch.
No, I absolutely loved her exit, especially looking at Johnny. Don't you dare say fucking sorry. Don't you fucking dare.
By the way, they didn't show this, but I think Johnny Weir wet his pants in that moment. He wet his pants in that moment.
Because it's honestly, she just got chipped out of winning like or splitting $100,000 or $250,000. Like I would be pissed too. I'd be so freaking pissed, especially when you have Johnny and Tara all day telling let's all vote out Rob. Let's get the numbers together. And Johnny's like, well, I know Johnny said I'm not so sure, but it's like pick a side and like argue for it. Don't go to the table and just sit there and like let the game happen. Because that whole roundtable felt like it was just Natalie versus Rob when it should have been like a group discussion and it was just Natalie and Rob talking.
Well, yeah, but then it became Natalie Tara. Then it became how dare you switch Tara? And Tara is just, I mean, and also I think in future, as funny as it is to watch Tara and Johnny, like be the best friends that have ever been friends in the world, I don't know if I want to see best friends ever again in this castle. I think it was fine this time, but I don't know if I ever want to see that because, like, listen, they have a lot of disadvantages because they really don't seem to be good at playing these type of games. But the one advantage they have is this friendship. And I don't want to cast that. I don't know. I don't think they'll, I mean, do you know what I'm saying? Like, I think that's a mistake to ever do that again in the future.
And then how did you feel like about like relationships? Like I think of like Larsa and, oh my gosh.
Marcus.
Yeah. What did you feel about that?
I was fine with that just because Larsa got out so quickly that it didn't become annoying.
Same with Marcus. Marcus got murdered.
It like if they had went further along in the game together, I think I would have been potentially annoyed. Unless you want to do an all couples friends season. Mm-hmm. If you wanted to just cast friends and couples, which would be, or like exes, that might be funny.
I know I want strategy Traitors, and I do want like a Bravo Traitors. Like I think that would be really good to have. Like I think that'd be fun, but also too it would change the pacing of the game exponentially if they do that.
Well, I think this is what shows that the game is real is because you're like, well, I wish they would have kept some of the Bravo players to the end. It's like the Bravo players, no matter how much we love them, aren't great at this game. And remember, Dolores was one of the 3 or 4 people that won last season, but she was wrong up until the end. She won by default, you guys. And I love Dolores on Real Housewives of New Jersey, but I don't think she was great at this game. And I think the Bravo celebrities weren't good at this game. So it shows how real the game is that they shouldn't be here. Like, unless somebody had completely ingratiated themselves to Rob, who seems to be running this game at this point. But that person is Maura, who comes from a Love Island background.
Mm-hmm. Well, I would also say we had good players on this season, but they're all gone. So like that just shows that Rob made the correct murders up until this point. And same with like the other Traitors. They were making the correct murders to have the faithful that don't know what the hell's going on still there. And
you want to get so they got those the game players, a lot of them out at the beginning, like because you got Rob Cesternino out immediately before he could really play the game. You got a lot of these people out. You kept a few game players, but then the personality players are the ones that got banished or murdered in the second half of the game, which obviously is the choice that everybody would go with because they're just kind of flailing wildly. And now it's down to these people, but the people that are left, like Mark Ballas, I still can't get a beat on his personality. He just seems like a real normal guy that is playing this game. But even him, I'm like, how is he not further on to Rob at this point? Or how does he not come in tonight after Kristen Kish said, look at Eric? How does Eric escape being fully looked at in this episode?
Well, I felt like Mark just went to the roundtable and...
Folks, imagine if edibles just made you feel good instead of too high. Yeah, we're talking about our friends over at Lumi today. Consistent, mellow, and super delicious, Lumi gummies are specifically designed to make you feel good, not stoned. Whether you're looking for an end of the day de-stressor, a midday mood boost, or help getting the best sleep ever, Lumi gummies has a strain that's right for you. So for me, if you listen to the show, I have trouble sleeping. And so Lumi gummies They're amazing. They sent me some and they are incredible. I particularly like the Rainbow Sherbet Indica. It's an indica gummy that melts away tension while keeping your mind clear and your spirits lifted. And it has like this amazing taste. It's like zesty orange, lime, and summer berries for a refreshing, sweet, tart finish. I feel like I'm on Top Chef when I talk about their gummies, but they have something for everybody. I mean, you got to go check them out. Go to lumigummies.com, obviously. But these things, they really work. Lumi gummies are available nationwide. So all you have to do is go to lumigummies.com. That's LUMI gummies.com and use code SOBAD, even though it's so good, for 30% off your order. Again, that's LUMI gummies.com, code SOBAD, lumigummies.com, code SOBAD.
Just sat there and listened to Rob, Natalie, and Tara just fight it out, and then he voted for Natalie. And then he got mad that Natalie wasn't a traitor. So it was just like you could have spoke up and said everything about Kristen said the night before, but it just feels like he's not choosing to speak up when it matters, and like that's what's killing me. Is just like a lot of these people are. It just really felt like in this episode, Rob, Natalie, and Tara were the only people that like really played this episode, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like they're the only ones playing traitors, and like everyone else is just there.
I made a meme about this the other night. I was like, it was something like, I fear Tara is like, I mean, Tara's never going to recover. She's going to be haunted by the castle for the rest of her life. Like, I feel like there's always one player that you're like, I'm emotionally worried for this player. And we see Tara at the end of this episode where she's in tears and she's like, I just murder me tonight. I just can't. And like, it's totally believable because you can see the struggle with all of this. And it reminded me a little bit of like Mercedes in season 2 when she's at that final fire pit and they don't share the money with Mercedes. And you knew that really affected Mercedes for that moment and a long period of time afterwards. And I think there is something excitement to know that this really affects them. But sometimes you're just like, damn, girl, like you're an Olympian. Have some faith in yourself. You're amazing, you know?
So what's funny that you're talking about this on the Cruise of Deception. Towards the end, there was a traitor that I picked, and they were doing phenomenal. And they got to the end, and then like people were getting banished, and they were feeling so guilty about it. And like one of the players, as they got banished, like they just didn't want to play anymore because they felt so bad. Like they were crying at the roundtable as they were traitors, just playing a perfect game. I was like, this is insane.
Well, now because I think you can still submit to play the normal version of the traitors that they're going to start working on pretty soon. And I'd said no. And then this week I was like, you know what, maybe. And then I gamed it out in my head. And I was just like, psychologically, I don't think I could do. I mean, I don't think I could do it. I think I would even if I was a faithful, I think I would come across guilt. Like I really gamed it out. And I think not that I would be like the full breakdown of Tara, but I think mentally I would be tortured. Like I'm even tortured when I go really hard on somebody on a reality TV show. I actually like think about it at the end of the day and kind of be like, well, it's a bummer I had to say that stuff. I can't imagine doing that on television, knowing that some goober like me would have to like recap that episode. Like, could you imagine? Like, I mean, Bergie, you went through this. You had to hear on Love Island and on the Traitors what people thought of you. Like nobody can prepare you for that.
No, nobody can. And it's so weird. Like you could listen to like 90% of the love that you get, and then there's that 10% of the hate, and you read the 10% of the people that hate you, and then that affects you more than the 90% of love.
Yes, because I always crazy. Like that. I like that person that hates me got it right. That's the one that knows that knows the real me.
And like I feel like they might be accurate with that. How it affects me. Oh
yeah, I just don't. I mean, so it is interesting, and you see like the gamers that have been playing these kind of games for like 2 decades, like and it's like you have Boston Rob, who seems like a very secure dude and who he is as a person, and but like you're just like, how does this? You've made a career out of this for this long. That takes a very unique kind of person that you're like, I just don't know how you keep doing this. I don't know how you keep putting yourself in this position. And I just hope you're financially secure at some point where you don't need to keep doing this to yourself.
I was just going to say, I loved it. It's like a roller coaster. Like I would do like reality TV shows, like the competition shows, especially. Like I don't think I could do like a Bravo show or Summer House. I feel like I don't want people to know that much about me or like sides of my relationships and stuff. But like game show aspects, like I would love to just jump from show to show because I think it's really fun, and I don't care what people think about my gameplay. It does suck. Like with Bravo, though, I feel like your personality is being more attacked than your strategy or gameplay.
Yeah. Oh, yeah,
I don't
definitely.
care if someone said Bergie sucked at Traitors. Like, I'm like, okay.
Yeah, but if somebody said Bergie sucked as a boyfriend, that could hurt.
Yeah, that would hurt way more than just, oh, you sucked at Traitors.
So you know, Maura, it's very interesting. Maura, you know, a lot of people are saying she's in love with Rob. She's just going to follow whatever he says. And I was just, you know, like you used to say, you would go home at night in the castle or wherever you guys stay, even though it is the castle.
It's the castle.
It is the castle. And you guys write down in your journal, you were writing down in your journal everything that you had noticed that day. Do you think Maura Higgins is writing in her journal at night? Do you think she really is paying attention to this game?
I don't think she's taking like the pen out of the package yet. If I'm being honest.
I think I gotta get my beauty rest. I think I do. Yeah.
Yeah. I know we heard Mark saying he was writing, so I think they got journals again this season.
Yeah, I would imagine that stayed like constant, you know, is that they give you a journal and you write down everything. And I do think Mark is using his journal. I just would love to see Maura's journal, if it's like completely blank or if there's like a lot of notes in there and she's actually really thinking this out.
There's actually a lot of players. It would be so much fun, like if they posted like their journal writing,
Yes!
so we could see what everybody was thinking in the moments. Like, what was Michael Rappaport actually thinking, or what was Colton actually thinking, or that would be a lot of fun to know.
You know what? That's what I was thinking when I was thinking about Tara, is that if we could just give 20% of what Colton had to Tara, you know, it's like if Tara had, you know, because Colton and Michael, they were both so flippin' aggressive that it turned off a lot of the audience, but that's what you need in the castle. You need to like sway them. You need to be passionate. And if you have this kind of flaky, like, well, I don't know, and I'm not going to talk because I was wrong yesterday, you can't be like that. You know, especially at this moment.
Well, yes, but also too, like I felt like Colton needed to play a little bit more like Tar, not like 100%.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. Like,
he needed some of that.
Yes.
Pull back.
And Michael Rappaport, just needed any of that because it was just all guns blazing all the time. Now, before we get into the recap of the actual episode, they already filmed the reunion last week, and Lisa Rinna once again got herself in trouble because she put out this thing that we talked about last week that I think Colton left, and like she did what needed to be done, but she doesn't know if it's going to air in the actual episode. And then Lisa Rinna backtracked this week on that and saying, well, I don't know if he left. I mean, he might have went to the bathroom. Who knows? You know, I'm like, what are you talking about?
Yeah. So my guess is they don't want that in the reunion. So they're like, let's have her come out with, he maybe went to the bathroom, but I'm sure something happened, but they don't want to use that.
But Lisa's had to backtrack now twice in regards to her public statements about Colton. And then Colton's management, his team came out and said, well, I guess Colton's just something to the effect of, I guess Colton's just confused because in person, Lisa acts like they're really good friends, and then in public, she'll make these public statements going against Colton. And that's the thing. It's like Lisa is still playing the game. Like Lisa is one way in public and one way in private. And no matter what you think about Colton and what he deserves, that does have to be a little jarring if Lisa's acting like you're besties, and then publicly it's like, this guy's a maniac.
Tearing them apart. No, absolutely. I'm just curious. Like, I'm really curious what it's going to be like in future seasons, like social media wise, because Mark Ballas was also on Chicks in the Office podcast.
Oh yeah, Chicks in the Office. Yes,
and he said like before this episode came out, he's like, "Oh yeah, we just haven't got the clues for Rob yet," and he's like teasing that they're going to get Rob out. And I saw that before this episode aired, and I'm like, if Rob gets banished this episode, I'm actually going to be pissed. And so, like, he kind of spoiled this whole episode before it happened.
Oh, really? See, I didn't listen to that, but I did see that he was on, and I left a comment on the Instagram because I was like, does that mean Mark goes home this week? Because usually that's when they start doing press. So I was I was thinking Mark was going home before I watched this episode. I did say last week that they needed to get Kristen out, but I didn't think they were going to do it. So that murder did surprise me, even though that's the one I would have pushed for as well. But yeah, Mark Ballas is still there, but I was surprised. At this point, I hope they don't do any exit interviews interviews at all in the next week, because next week is the finale, correct?
It is the finale. So yeah, please don't spoil it. Please do not spoil this.
And I don't think they're going to give me, because they give me advanced episodes like the morning of. They they put it in like the email around like 8 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, and I've never spoiled that for any. Like I've kept that under lock and key, but they don't give it out like the day before, 2 days before. They do it the day of, just to try to avoid anybody spoiling it. And if I remember correctly, last season they didn't give you the finale. They made you watch that the night of. And they're going to do the reunion directly after, correct? Or do they I think so. They did that last time.
I think you could honestly, if you wanted to, you could watch the reunion before you watch the final episode. I think they released at the same time.
Oh yeah, because it's two separate clicks. Yeah,
I would recommend watching the finale before the reunion to you guys. Just to FYI.
I recommend. Hey guys, that's a big tip from us to you. Watch the finale before the reunion. That's a good one. Okay, so this is episode 10. Last week, Eric Nam got recruited by Rob. Dorinda was murdered, and Steven was voted out. Kristen was on to Eric Nam at the end of the episode, and she says, she tells Mark, if I'm murdered, look at Eric. She says this in front of Mark, and she says it in front of Rob. There's a jack-in-the-box in the dungeon. If the jack-in-the-box opens and there's a traitor, you're out. We open up with another day in my castle. And we have Maura and Rob coming into the breakfast room first. And Maura's just like, how are we still here, Rob? And today is the semifinals. And Rob is serving her eggs. There's no fight about salmon at this point, which I kind of miss them talking about the salmon. And she says, I can count on my hand my closest friends, but the thing is, I really do trust Rob. I trust, and she tells Rob, I trust you fully. I would be sick if you turned around and said you're a traitor. And he just goes, yeah. What'd you think about that moment?
Well, and I'm just thinking, like, you're saying, like, I can't believe I'm still here. And it's like, okay, look around, like, who wouldn't murder you? That's the question you got to be asking. And even Tara brings it up, like, here in a little bit. But I'm just like, how is she not putting the puzzle pieces together? Like, she's just there.
There were multiple times, and there were multiple, like, we'll get to it, where the camera, like, stays on her, where the audience almost thinks, like, is she putting this together in her head, what's actually happening? Because it's getting really, really obvious. And they would, like, hold the camera on her. And the audience, this is why we're great, is that we put our own thoughts into their heads, So sometimes they're like, oh, she figured it out. She knows Rob is a murderer. She knows. And then it's like, no, she doesn't. And, but, this is exactly what you want, I would imagine, if you're a producer, is for Maura to say, I trust you. I would be shocked if you're a traitor. Because then the audience knows if it comes down to those final two and Rob has to, like, backstab Maura, that's going to be thrilling and heartbreaking television, right?
Mm-hmm. No, it's going to be great television. I'm really still playing it out in my head. Like, so I would say on an average week, I rewatch the episode maybe once or twice. So that's 3 hours of Traitors. We do this podcast, so that's like another 2 hours. So I think about Traitors at least 5 hours. And then I think throughout the week, I probably accumulate another 3 hours of Traitors, just going, okay, what's going to happen to this next episode? So, like, I'm thinking about Traitors like 8 hours a week, and I'm just like still trying to figure out what's going to happen. And this week's bothered me even more because I'm like, who are they murdering, and how is Rob going to make it, or how is Rob not going to make it? And right now, after all this evidence has come out, like, before I was rooting for Rob, and now I'm like, do I want Rob to win? Do I not want Rob to win? I'm not sure.
Well, it's really, like, I think Rob has played a thrilling game up to this point. This episode, I was like, I want Rob to win because I thought this is the episode. If they had band together and actually been good faithfuls, they had all of the things that they needed to get him out. Like, they had all of it. It was right there for the taking, and they didn't take it. So now I want to see Rob win. And I mean, I've always wanted to see Rob win. This was the first one where I was like, I could be excited for the faithfuls if they won. If the faithfuls win next week, I don't think it's earned.
No, absolutely not. I thought Natalie would be like the driver for the faithfuls.
Me too.
Like, pulled it off today. I'm like, this is Natalie's win here. If she can get Rob out. And just to see when she flipped her card over first, I was like, fuck, everybody voted for Natalie. I just knew right when they had Natalie flip it first. I was like, yep, Natalie's going home.
So at this point, I do want, and I guess, like, I always now, because I've been watching these shows for so long and taking notes on shows like this, where if you're thinking of from like a production angle, and I'm not a producer, but if I was thinking from a production angle, I'm thinking about overall story. So, like, what stories have they highlighted? And yes, Rob is a traitor and he stayed, so you have to highlight more and more of his story. But there's a full range of story with Rob now at this point. And because even this episode, you talk about, like, it's pretty hard out there for a traitor. I'm feeling pretty bad sometimes. And so it almost gives him this, and has given him this hero at it, even as a traitor. So
Mhm.
overall, if he wins, they'll be like, we told a full story. And I don't think I think if the faithfuls win, they haven't given us a full enough story to make it make sense for the majority of people watching. I think at this
Yeah.
point, the people that don't like Rob still don't like him from Love Island and just don't like it that like this guy went against Candace. He got Rinna out. I mean, I
Did
think the
you
Candace
see
thing still upsets people.
Yeah, and did you see Candace's husband was saying he was
Yeah,
sexist? I was just
Chris,
like,
white chocolate. Yeah.
"Come on." I was like, "He's not sexist." And, like, if you think he got the 2 traitor women out because of that, that's not the reason why there was heat on him. And then, like, he recruited a guy because statistically, there's never been, like, all female traitors or all male traitors for the US. There's always been a male and a female traitor. So he recruited a guy because everyone's going to be thinking there's guy. And one of his arguments was he was defending Eric, but he didn't defend Candace or Lisa. But if Eric got found out this episode, then they would know like Eric was a traitor because he would reveal it, and then that would get pinned back on Rob. I'm like, he can let Eric go this next episode because they won't know if Eric's a traitor or not.
So Bad It's Good is sponsored by our friends at Ollipop. Now, Ollipop, Rebecca and I, we're kind of obsessed now. I've been chugging the classic root beer, and she has been digging the cream soda. And we have been drinking this like it's water. Now, Ollipop is a new kind of soda that combines the classic soda taste with the benefits of a functional ingredient blend to support digestive health. Ollipop is reimagining soda with high fiber and low sugar. My Ollipop story is that I think I drank a certain soda nonstop. And I have to admit that I've kind of switched off of that and I have been just drinking this. And this classic root beer, I love it. It kind of reminds me of my dad. He used to take me to like A&W root beer when I was a kid, and it's kind of throwing me back to those childhood memories. But this is high in fiber. It's low in sugar, so it's actually good for you. It's way better than traditional cola. And the functional ingredients, it supports my digestive health. I mean, these are all important things that I never thought about when I was drinking a soda of some sort. But now I'm thinking about it all the time. And I'm like, wow, I'm drinking something that tastes good, that I truly like, but I'm also doing something good for my digestive health, which I think is good, right? So, for you guys out there, if you want to try this, you can get a free can of Ollipop. You buy any 2 cans of Ollipop in store, and they're going to pay you back for 1. And it works on any flavor, any retailer, because they don't just have these 2 flavors. They have so many other flavors as well. So I'm going to put the code in there. It's drinkollipop.com/so bad. And you're just going to go there and put this information, and they're going to give you a free can of soda. Ollipop is sold online at drinkollipop.com plus Amazon and available in the soda aisle and with the chilled beverages at thousands of retailers nationwide, including Walmart, Target, Costco, and Whole Foods. Yeah, so what he's referring to, you guys, is Chris Bassett, Candace's husband, who you saw in Real Housewives of Potomac. He's been arguing on Twitter, still upset about Candace, and said that Rob, is sexist against women. The only thing that, it's like, first off, yeah, that's your wife. Like, go hard, you believe in your wife. I love it. But the reason why he's going so hard for Eric, he was able to choose Eric at that point for his game. And the thing is, we truly will never know is that, like, if Candace had decided to go along with Rob after the Lisa Rinna vote, but Candace decided to go against that completely and say, F you, Rob, for going against Lisa, which is completely valid. But that's why Rob then fully had to go after Candace and get her out before she could get him out. He did start the traitor on traitor violence, but he started it for a specific reason. It's one of those things that will haunt Rob, and a lot of people are still very upset about, including her husband, which I understand, but I do not personally think Rob is I mean, I think we're all sexist to a degree.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Like,
I still don't. Biases. Yeah, I don't think we still fully treat women as good as I still think women should be running this country. Like, call me crazy, but that's just my personal opinion. So we all have that bias, but I do find it interesting, the discourse around Rob. When I just think up to this episode, he's played a really interesting, fun game, and he's never strayed too far from this aw shucks personality he puts on, or that he really is.
Yeah. And also just shout out, midterms are this November, so start doing your research for voting.
Oh, yes,
Just
that's
throwing
true.
that out there.
By the way, I thought you were talking about midterms for your classes, and I was like, Bergie, it's next week, dude. I was like, what are you talking about in November?
No,
Yes, do your research now, you guys.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of research to be had. Oh, so anyways,
Yes.
Rob says he's feeling low this morning. He can feel the weight of all the lying and the scheming. It's taking a toll on him. I feel close to Mora. I can't help but genuinely feel bad. It's hard for me playing a game, and this is a person I like and using their feelings and emotions to run this game. So he's very cognizant of his game plan and what he has to do. I mean, do people want like the fact of him coming on and going, I hate Mora, dude. I can't wait to get her out. I love scheming against Mora. Is that what people would satisfy people, you know?
It would satisfy the audience that thinks, they don't like Rob. Yeah.
Yeah. So this is where Rob started to play an interesting, like, kind of game where I was like, scale it back, man. Rob says, I think Natalie is gone. And he knows that Kristen is the one that's actually gone because I think Natalie is gone. And Mora's like, yeah, it's Natalie or Kristen, I think. And then there's a knock and it's Eric and Mark coming in. And Mora says, it's the safe gang. And it's like, not the safe gang. 2 of the 4 people in this room are traitors. And Eric says, the last person I want to sit next to is Mark because Kristen put me on the spot. I'm hoping the heat is off of me. And Mora says, the people I don't trust are Johnny and Natalie for some reason. And Mark says, Tara's a sweetheart, but if that's a double bluff that she's playing, wow. And Rob says, once again, I think Natalie is dead. I'm like, dude, you've now said it twice. I feel like I get what you're doing because you're going to be wrong, but you've now said it twice. And luckily, Mora is the only one that heard you say it twice. And I guess she probably didn't hear, she doesn't really pick up on things, I guess. But I just thought, you know what I'm saying? I just thought, are you doing too much, Rob?
Yeah. And for me, I said this in the Traitors Castle. If I was a traitor, like I would definitely be saying who I'd murdered the night before. Like I was like, I think they would murder this person for this reason, and just give them the reason why I murdered someone. And just be like, yeah, that makes sense that they got murdered.
We have a knock at the door and Tara comes in and Tara says, I feel so bad coming in, you guys. I just feel like my radar is so off. And in a talking head, she goes, we banished Steven. I feel embarrassed making the wrong assumption, but Johnny and I are thinking the same people. We have to fix this. And Tara's like, I'm afraid they killed Johnny. Of course. All you care about is Johnny. And Johnny, all she cares about is you. It's like, you guys are great. There's a knock at the door and Johnny Weir comes in. Thank God. And Tara hops up immediately. And Johnny in a talking head's like, we came out and we finally... we can finally be ourselves and be together as friends. And she's like, you look so pretty, Tara. It would mean everything to stand with her and my best friend. And Johnny's like, I went into a special room last night. There was an envelope letter. I thought I was going to die. And it said, you've been shortlisted. Go to the dungeon. And then Tara goes, and then there was a Jack in the Box playing a creepy song. And if a traitor popped out, you were murdered. And Mora says, okay, well, I'm suspicious of Natalie. And I've never been suspicious of Kristen. And then there was a knock, there's shocked faces, and Natalie walks in. So now we know Kristen has been murdered. And by the way, Natalie is wearing, I think, her most skin-tight outfit. I was like, are we at a night at the club? Are we in the WWE? Like, Natalie, I want to see Natalie, like, as a pro wrestler. Like, I was watching Natalie's, like, workout routine she posted. She is a beast, man. Like, she is awesome. I want to see her compete. She's like at like an Olympic
she needs
level.
I feel like Peacock needs their own version of like the challenge or something for their audience. Like it doesn't even have to be
that's pretty damn good, Bergie.
More like
that's a great idea.
I feel like they should have their own brand of the challenge, like off brand of the challenge, but like you can use your Bravo people and people from Love Island and like put them all together.
That's a really, really great idea because the challenge is owned by Paramount, which MTV really doesn't exist as we know it anymore. But Challenge still exists. It's a Paramount, CBS, Viacom brand, So yeah, I mean, they should launch that. And by the way, NBC has tried to launch a couple of things like Destination Unknown and Deal or Don't Deal Island, which got canceled, unfortunately. So they do need something like that. They just need to find the right vehicle because I would love to see Natalie again.
Yeah, well, and like same with like Gabby, Dylan, all of like and like I don't want to just rely on like Traitors All Stars to see my favorite people again because that's like once every however maybe like once every 10 years
All Stars,
to do Traitors All Stars, yeah, and like they could do something like with a show that has our favorite reality stars and put them all on one show and just have it come out every year and just have different challenges and something.
I love that. Well, anyway, Kristen, we go back to watching her get murdered, and she says, if it's Eric, well done. If he ends up being a traitor, and then we flash back to the turret the night before, and Rob says, the murder of Kristen is only suspicion would be from Mark, but I think I can convince him that you're not a traitor. And Rob says, we need to get Natalie out. If she catches a whiff, we could be in trouble. And, I mean, that's completely true. So, Natalie says, these are the championship rounds. I got to be more observant because I have been wrong. I'm going to make sure I don't have any blind spots. And Rob says at the breakfast, I feel defeated and played. And then Alan comes in and Mora's like claps immediately. And I love, there's a real quick shot of Johnny Weir admiring Alan Cummings' outfit. He's like, wow, very quick shot. And then, he's like, Kristen, like a pan-fried steak, you too are now resting. Which, Bergie, when he would say these things, how hard is it not to laugh at Alan delivering these lines?
Honestly, pretty easy because I'm like hyper analyzing everything he's saying. Like, what happened last night? Was there a murder in plain sight? Or what is the challenge going to be? Because there's always a hint to the challenge and there's always, hints from what has happened. So like, okay. I was like locked into everything Alan was saying. I wasn't like listening for the puns. I was listening for the clues.
Okay. Well, I think I would be laughing because, like, what a performance. So he says tomorrow's the final day, so drink it all in. Tonight will be the last roundtable where players' identities will be revealed, and the mission will make your head spin. So that's the clue. And Tara then pulls Natalie after breakfast. And Tara in the talking head goes, how did I ever think it was Natalie? I slept on it and realized it's not Natalie. How do you sleep on it and realize it's not Natalie? What kind of sleep are you getting?
You're writing in your journal and you go, it's not Natalie. And then, but the thing is, she flipped her decision at the round table.
Like, yes, she votes for Natalie at the end of this game. What? What are you talking about?
Yeah, and it's like you went the whole day with Natalie, and then you're like, actually, screw it, Natalie. Since you're now coming after me after I didn't speak up about Rob, now I'm going to banish you. It made no sense. And that's the most aggravating thing. The whole episode, she's like, Natalie can't be a traitor. And then it's like, you get to the round table, Natalie's a traitor. Because she came after me. She hurt my feelings.
It's like they fall into the same traps again and again. So Tara tells Natalie, do you think it's Rob? So this is the first time Rob has been mentioned, except for Candace. And Natalie says, me and Rob connected so early in the game, I don't want to pivot, but I have been trusting Rob. And Tara says, Candace threw out Rob's name. And Natalie's like, yeah, and why am I here? Why have I not been murdered? And Tara in a talking head says, I have a slight suspicion of Rob that's creeping in. He created this presence that he is like the most faithful. Which, like, Tara nails it. Tara nails everything in the talking head of what Rob's gameplay has been. And she's like, maybe that's where we need to look because it's so obvious. And Natalie says, I need you to promise you're a faithful. And Natalie's like, Rob also has a dagger. He gets 2 votes. But what if we talk to Maura about Rob? And this was another mistake. Why would you talk to Maura? You're not going to be able to convince Maura at this point. Like, do you think that was a mistake?
I mean, it tipped off Rob, but I think, but that also... I don't think it was
You know what's better than flowers that die in 3 days? Matching underwear. Seriously, MeUndies has cracked the code on Valentine's Day gifts and beyond with their matching underwear for couples. It's cute, it's intimate, and you will wear them more than once. My personal experience with MeUndies, I think you know my journey. I can't show you, but I am wearing MeUndies right now, and I have the MeUndies on that have little hearts on it because I'm a romantic, but I also have ones with dinosaurs. They are amazing. I swear by MeUndies. MeUndies makes matching underwear specifically for couples, though. So same adorable prints, different cuts for each, and all made from their signature ultra-modal fabric that feels impossibly soft. Unlike other brands just slapping hearts on generic underwear, MeUndies designs coordinating prints from the ground up. And their Valentine's Day collection has prints made for 2. It's the kind of gift that makes you smile every time you put them on. Now, over 30 million pairs have been sold and 90,000 5-star reviews for their products. People love these because they actually fit well and feel amazing. I can attest to that. And their first pair promise, 45 days risk-free, means if your first pair doesn't work out, they're going to make it right. And they're not going to hassle you about it. Every style comes in coordinating prints so you and your partner can match. Boxer briefs, trunks, briefs for him, bikinis, thongs, boy shorts, cheeky styles for her. Same print, different fits. Valentine's Day has already passed. But if you want these delivered at any point, not just for Valentine's Day. It is for beyond. This is the gift that keeps on giving long after the holiday is over. So make this Valentine's Day and beyond one to remember with matching underwear from MeUndies. To get exclusive deals up to 50% off, go to MeUndies.com/SoBad and enter promo code SoBad. That's very important. Enter promo code SoBad. That's MeUndies.com/SoBad. Promo code SoBad for up to 50% off. That's promo code SoBad for up to 50% off.
Because they had to get the votes. They knew Rob had the dagger. And this is another thing that I was thinking about this week. I'm like, if I had the dagger like in season 2, I'm using that right away because you're never guaranteed another day, if that makes sense. And Rob held on to that thing for 5 days.
It makes sense, but Rob was at a point, if he used the dagger, that would be a little weird because he was so safe and he knew it. So like, why would, like, he was so safe. So it would almost tip me off of like, bro, why are you using that now? Because you're like completely safe, unless, because you know how the other, like the dagger people, there was a group of them that knew that Rob had the dagger and they agreed to keep it secret. I would have said, I will use this dagger however you guys want me to use this dagger. Just let me know because I want to get trust with a group of people.
Well, and like, the crazy thing is there's 6 people in that group, and you would think at least one of those people would have to be a traitor in a group of 6 people when there's like 10 people still in the castle. So it's like, thinking like that, you're like, okay, if there's a traitor in here, they would likely kill the person with the dagger. And just for Rob not to use it for so long, I think was super sus.
Yeah. I mean, it is super sus. So this is the last time you can use the dagger, but they're aware of that. But yeah, they're like, let's go talk to Mora about this. And they're like, oh yeah. Then they cut to Mark and Rob walking outside. And Mark says, bro, promise me it's not you, bro. Look me in the eyes, bro. And at this point, did you notice Rob just goes, yeah.
Yeah.
And Mark says, I believe you. All my people are gone. So Rob says, yeah, which I think he was like, yeah, I'm not a traitor. But you could also take that as an admission because he never point blank says, no, I'm definitely not a traitor. He just says, yeah. And then Mark hops in immediately and says, I believe you. Like, that's how much people want to believe Rob in this game.
Well, it was just crazy to me that all he had to say was yes. Like, that's all the questioning you're going to do. Like,
it was like, okay, I totally believe it. Nice.
Yeah. And I didn't understand that. Like, from Mark's perspective, like, yep, I can trust him. And I think it's just because he's been with Rob this whole time in the season. And he's like, yep, I'm just going to fully trust Rob now.
Dude, if I was playing with Mark Ballas, I know this is neither here nor there, but I would make him teach me a dance. Like, you know,
absolutely.
you have a choreographer there. Like, why are we not like having him choreograph like a Traitors like thriller dance, like a Michael Jackson thing out in front of the castle, and like everybody like just like start working on it and date. Like, I would hit him up immediately, which I'm sure he's sick of that, but I would just make him teach me some sort of dance move that like I can do with bad hips and a knee.
Well, and like he came through the door earlier in the season, and then he did like a nice little move when he came into the castle, and then he also. He didn't lead the Cogna line, but like, was he part of that? He should have been part of the.
No,
Cogna
Candace led the but I'm sure he was part of the. But I will say, it's Bergie. You know Billy Joel, right?
Yeah, I know Billy Joel, the piano.
Okay, yeah, he's the piano man, right? But it's like Billy Joel. If he ever goes to parties and there's a piano that just happens to be there, like everybody's got to be looking at Billy Joel. Like everybody's like, look at that dude, piano, and Billy Joel's here. Maybe he'll hop on the piano. It's got to be the same way with Mark Ballas, where you're like, hey man, you're here. You want to teach me a move? Like, it's just got to be a lot of pressure for Mark.
Absolutely. And like, we should have had Max from Dancing with the Stars teach us some dance moves.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I forgot he was on your season.
Yeah.
How was he? Was he intimidating?
No, he was freaking amazing. He loved to talk about dance, and believe it or not. And I really liked Max. And he thought I could have been a traitor too. He mentioned that at the roundtable. He looked at me. He's like, "This kid acts so innocent," but like, it was because of the graveyard challenge the day before, or it was the same episode. Yeah, it was the same episode as the graveyard challenge. And he's like, "This kid just let us in the graveyard challenge, and he acts so innocent. He could be a traitor." I was like, "Fuck, I have to vote for Mac."
It is true, though. I mean, you have this personality of such an innocent that I can see why you would be picked to play that game, because it would really psychologically mess with people.
Yeah. I think I could pull it off after a couple episodes. I think I could, but we'll see.
Anyways, Mark says, like everybody else, I'm going to be looking at people I never looked at before. Also, why has nobody, like Mora, if you think about Mora, he's she's kind of turned into Rob's lackey, but like, why is it never like, why has nobody put the spotlight on Mora? Like, obviously she's a faithful, but she's also gone so under the radar because nobody could possibly believe she's a traitor. But why has there never been any real discussion about Mora? Because I would think at some point people would be suspicious of her at this point.
No, I can't tell you because I'm not there, but I would love to know that too. It's just like when you put the spotlight on someone, you see how they react. Like Rob had a little bit of spotlight on him, and he started like doing his Love Island eye rolls. He went back to like paranoid Rob all of a sudden.
Robin the Talking Dead says, I'm worried Mark thinks Eric Nam is a traitor, but I have my boys back. I have Eric's back, and we have to get it on Natalie. And Mark's like, has there been one thing that's made you question Natalie? And Rob says, Natalie didn't vote for Candace when it was an obvious thing. And Mark's like, yeah, we all voted Candace, and she voted for Tara. The only strategic move, like the only strategic player left is Natalie. Then we cut to Natalie, Mora, and Tara, and Natalie's like, Mora, why am I still here? And Mora's like, why am I here? I'm shit. I'm not even good at this game. I don't even know what I'm doing, and I'm still here.
Exactly.
That's what I wrote. Bingo.
That's why you're here.
Bingo. Why didn't Natalie in that moment go, exactly? Yeah. That's why you're still here. Wait, are you allowed to bring up like, would you be allowed in this moment to be like, it's just like in season 2 where this happened? Like, you're probably not allowed to use specific moments of other games.
No, I was doing that. Like, this is like season 1, and like in season 1, this happened. Like, my argument for Janelle, I was thinking of Kate Chastain and why Janelle was still here. Because like I was kind of bringing that up at the roundtable because Kate just showed up. I was like, this is like a perfect example. Like Janelle is the queen of chaos, and she's just causing chaos. And I think the traitors like that, and that's why she's still here.
It's just like, because Kate Chastain, I've had Kate on the podcast before. I've hung out with her a couple times in real life, and I really like her, but I will say she carries herself with this kind of gravitas where I'm like, I can tell she's a more confident person and she kind of knows who she is in a certain way. And sometimes I don't. And so like, even now, like, even though I do know her, I still get a little nervous around Kate. And I just think that's why it's interesting, like different personalities. You really factor in how they appear in life, and that follows you into this game.
Mm-hmm. Honestly, I really like Kate Chastain. Even
she's awesome
on camera, off camera. I never got nervous around her though. I was just kind of.
I just get nervous around anybody. Yeah. But like, also she's on House of Villains. A new season premieres this week as well.
Yes,
you guys.
I'm so excited for that.
And that's on Peacock exclusively and not on E anymore. Anyways, Natalie says, why do you think Candace mentioned Rob? Like, that's weird. You know, and Mora's like, I think she just messed up. And Natalie's like, but why Rob? And Mora's like, it could not be Rob. You can't be 100%. Then if it's him and me, we're at the end and he's a traitor, I would storm out of the castle. I would drop dead. Once again, if you're a producer, hell yeah, I want to watch Mora storm out of the castle, right?
Are they teasing this? Is this what's going to happen?
Well, but see, this is where I'm like, they seem like they've teased this twice. So maybe they're going against what like the obvious thing is. And maybe they do get Rob out at the very end.
I'm also curious. Right now, I have my pick for Mora being murdered right now.
Oh, no, I think it's got to be. I have my vote for Johnny. And because I think that will throw Tara into complete. I think Tara will lose the last shred of any sort of she will just psychologically crumble at that point. We might even be able to get Tara to admit she is a traitor, even though she isn't one. That's how gone she'll be after Johnny.
I don't know, like, because I think because if they don't murder Mora, then it's probably Mark, in my opinion. But like, I just think it's like. Where was I going with this? I'm sorry, I've lost my train of thought.
No, I think it would be humane. Like, I think if Rob's in love with Mora, it would be humane to murder her. Yeah. Because then he doesn't have to betray her at the end of the game.
And people would be like, okay, is it Rob? Because that was her number one ally. Why would he murder his number one ally right before the finale? That's kind of where my thought process is. It's like the perfect double bluff right before the finale.
I like your thought. I like your thought. I just don't think it'll happen because they've invested so much in Mora.
Well, Mark also, was talking with Rob, and, he thinks it's Eric. So, like, he's got to, maybe can throw Eric under the bus a little bit. And then also, too, if he murders Johnny, Mark was just telling Rob in a way that, like, it would be impossible to throw Tara under the bus, even if Johnny is murdered. I don't think you could throw Tara under the bus just because of how Tara was crying to Mark right after the roundtable. I don't think
Yeah. Oh, you're right. You're right.
you could get Mark to vote for Tara. So he either needs to murder Mark, I think, or Maura, or Johnny, or Tara. Just murder Tara. And I don't know what to do with Johnny.
Yeah, I mean, but
It's hard.
you just don't want. I just don't think you want Johnny and Tara there together because they will vote. They will hype each other up and they will go Rob immediately. Say, let's go walls to the wall for Rob. They'll have two.
You're right. He does have to get rid of one of them.
You got to, yeah,
yeah, because they're probably going to both go for Rob. That would be my guess this next episode.
So it's revealed to Johnny that their eyes are on Rob. Johnny's entertaining it. And they're just kind of like doing their thing in the castle where it's like Maura talking to Eric and Rob on the drive over. And she mentions that Tara and Natalie came to me together and they started bringing up Rob. And I was like, I trust Rob. And Rob just casually is like, well, yeah, what are the facts? And Maura goes, now I don't trust Natalie. And Mark Ballas is in the car and goes, yeah, I have it on Natalie as well. So they're in the one car. The rest of the team is in the other car. And then it's carnival games for the challenge. And Rob's like, I'm not really a theme park guy, but I've enjoyed a roller coaster or two. Shield's important, so I can murder anyone tonight. His accent is getting thicker and thicker each episode, folks. And so the mission is they have to strap themselves into this twirly machine. And when the ride stops, you got to disembark and find bags of gold stuck in these cuddly bears and then run back the prizes and get back on the ride. You're not allowed back on the ride without a bag of gold. It'll spin 5 times. Whoever sits at the end and has the shield whoever's the last one that's on this ride at the very end will have the shield, and the prize pot is up to $30,000. Even though at this point, even though they keep tabulating the prize, it's exactly what we talked about last time. The prize thing, they've got to figure out. Like at this point, I'm like, why do we care about the money again? Like, I don't get how the money works still.
Yeah, well, especially like last year, like $50,000 was divided up to 4 people.
Yeah.
I mean, 200,000, everybody got 50,000. And I'm like,
and remember, what's her name? Gabby Wendy said she didn't even get hers for a very long time.
Yeah.
And she was upset about it.
And for me too, I'm just like, I couldn't even get all my student loans paid off with $50,000.
Well, and remember, you guys, like, they do get paid for being on the show, but it's not favored nations. They all don't get paid the same. Like Lisa. Yeah, Bergie got paid way different.
I volunteered my time out there compared to the other people.
Well, but by the way, because Bergie was like new in his TV career, so of course you're going to be able to pay Bergie way less than somebody like Lisa Rinna. To get Lisa Rinna on this show, I bet she got a nice chunk of change for this, you know?
Yeah. And by the way, Peacock, if you're listening, you can lowball the fuck out of me for Traitors All-Stars if you're doing it. if you're like, we're on a budget, I'll volunteer.
By the way, hey guys, Peacock, if you're listening, I'll pay you guys to get Bergie back on a show. I'll throw in some money. By the way, let's do a GoFundMe where we send the money to Peacock to get Bergie back on at one of these shows. Okay,
yeah. I'll buy my flight. I'll
boat in. Like I'll get myself to and I don't even need to stay in the castle, you guys. I'll bring my own food. Like, why are you only eating protein bars, Bergie? Like, oh, I said I wouldn't eat any of the salmon. It's great.
Yep.
I won't take any of the salmon. Anyways, so they're getting strapped in. The one thing I was confused at is that we find out that Eric, Nam, and Tara can't ride due to medical reasons. And I almost thought this was like I totally appreciate medical reasons, but I thought it was a little unfair because part of the thing is this thing spins around and you're going to lose your balance when you like run off of it. And Eric and Tara aren't going to have their balance affected and they get to go chase for these like the gold. That
yeah, no, I thought they should have been like, they can go collect money and put it on the seat, but they don't get a shield. Like that should not have been allowed.
Yeah, Eric shouldn't have been able to get a shield at all. But what kind of medical condition do you think it was?
Well, so going from my PT reasoning, it would be like your
heart.
Oh gosh, your ear canals. So like, there's the ear crystals within your ear, and it's your vestibular nerve. So like, if those ear crystals get moved around or shaken up at any point in your life, you'd be walking drunk for a couple days.
Yeah, but like, doesn't Tara like spin around a bunch of times on the ice?
I don't know, like, but that was when she was like 12, and that could have caused her to develop the ear crystals flop around. I think it's a vestibular cochlear nerve.
Hey guys, if anybody out there listening or watching knows, will you email me at sobaditsgoodwithryanbailey@gmail.com? Because I really am curious what this is.
I could actually send it to you. I should have maybe looked into it. I have PowerPoints on it.
Yeah, no, I actually am curious just why you wouldn't be able to do this. Anyways, this is also, I used to remember these at like fairs in Kansas. These things would always make me sick. I'm not good at these kind of like the force of gravity going against me. I immediately get nauseous. So I was already getting nauseous watching this. And Maura's like, right now I'm tinking. Close my eyes. I'm tinking I won't get dizzy. I think it I won't. And, Rob, they go off, they spin once, they go off and run. And Rob comes back at the very end with $2,500 and he runs back and there isn't a seat for him. They didn't announce beforehand that they were going to take seats away. And so this is where it's like, sorry, Rob, you're no longer in the running of getting a shield. And Rob is like, wait. Mark, you only had 750. I had 2,500. What are we doing? And this is when Rob rolls his eyes like he did in Love Island. And I think this, by the way, I don't think this was an act. I think this was Rob genuinely annoyed.
Oh, I think him getting found out in the car, like that people have been saying his name and then getting to the, I think it was just a buildup. It wasn't him acting. Like Natalie's like, oh, he's overacting. I'm like, Rob is flustered right now. That's what's going on.
Yes, because if you're a traitor and you played such a good game thus far, and all of a sudden on the last, like the day before the last day, you're being like brought up as a suspect by multiple people, and then you don't get a shield, a shield would potentially help your game. I think you're going to be annoyed. I think he regretted pouting like this in retrospect, maybe.
I don't think he I don't think it had affected his game. The pouting didn't really affect his game too much. I think the Candace voting for him is the way worse thing happening right now than him.
Oh, sure. But in this day, this is going to get used against him because he really didn't realize that a chair was going to be taken away. Also, how do you not realize a chair is going to be taken away? When they're running, they don't see a chair being removed?
Yeah, I have no idea, but that would be my guess going into it. Like they said, the last person on there gets a shield, so it's like you would think, like,
yeah,
get back as soon as you can.
But Mark's like, I'm sorry you're mad, bro. He's like, I'm not mad at you. And Alan's like, you're mad at the game. And Rob's like, I just don't want to die. And Natalie says, this is weird to me. Rob's acting, and Mark is a dancer, so he spins for a living. So he's like okay with this game. Natalie says, Natalie helps Maura on the like second or third one rip a teddy bear open because she doesn't have the strength to rip a teddy bear open because she knows that she's going to have to get Maura in her like back pocket to help her get Rob out. Now this time, Johnny Weir doesn't get a seat. There's another spin. This is where I wrote, Natalie is a beast, dude. When she runs like a superhero, dude. Like I was watching her run. I was like, dude, man, she's a badass. I was like, I want to see her in like an action movie or something. Like, I just thought she was. I hope somebody. I don't know. I'm really excited to see what Natalie does after this, and I hope she doesn't take any of this too personally.
Peacock the events.
Oh yeah, Peacock's the events, produced by Carsten Bergersen, with an associate producer credit by Ryan Bailey. So, 2 chairs are taken away this time. Natalie doesn't get one, and Tara doesn't get one. I love Tara's like on the bleachers watching with Johnny, and Johnny's like rubbing her shoulders, and then it's like Eric and Maura are the ones that head to the final round. And she's like, I'm getting that shield if it's the last thing I do. And Eric gets the shield. There's $24,500 banked to the prize pot. And also, I forgot to say that it was very cute that they had 2 dummies that looked like Eric, Nom, and Tara with wigs on it. That was very cute.
No, I thought that was awesome. The other thing that I really liked during this challenge was when Natalie helped Maura. And I was like, oh, this is a great way to get Maura to help vote with you. And it didn't do shit.
Yeah, it didn't do shit. It's like, yes. Hey, unless you're wearing Obsession for men and have overalls on, I don't care,
Yeah.
So now we're in the car ride back. Mark says, anyone think it's Natalie and Tara? And Rob says, yeah, Natalie got recruited because she confided to me Natalie probably got recruited because she's been confiding in me, but the last couple of days she's been distant. I thought that was an interesting move to put out there. And then in the other car, Natalie says, Rob actions today were so bad. He has never acted like that before. It's all about numbers. He will use the dagger tonight. And Johnny and Tara, they vote together and it's me. And that would be 3. And then if we can get Eric and Mark, we need to convince other people to get on our side. I think Eric Nom would be open, which he isn't. He's a traitor. Tara in a talking head goes, I shared Rob's name to Natalie in confidence, and now she's running with it. I don't know if it's smart to go for Rob tonight. And when she said this in the talking head, what did you think?
Oh,
because Tara all of a sudden says, I told her about Rob in confidence, but I don't think it's smart to go for Rob tonight, potentially. So this is when I was like, Tara, what are you doing, man? Like, you said it. You got to go for it. You can't backtrack now.
I'm like, Well, especially if Natalie's going to argue for you and then bring up your name involved in it. Like, Tara, you were like that. Now you're going to get killed if you don't bring it up. Like, once you start gutting for a player, you got to step on their throat or you're going to get killed. Like, you can't just like
especially with Natalie
after saying their name. Yeah.
Natalie's like an intense laser, and she even says, "Who do we go for tonight then? One of us will be dead." And Tara and a talking head.
And I think at this point, Johnny and Tara were like, we got to banish Natalie if we want to stay with the group. If we want to be in the herd mentality, we have to banish Natalie. And they realized that, but it's just like, you're going to sacrifice Natalie for the traitors at this point if you're not going to help Natalie banish Rob. Like, that's what they were choosing to do. They were like, I'd rather be with the herd than stick on my own gut feeling. And I think this is where it starts to get infuriating for me as a viewer and you as a viewer, because you're saying this is like where you got infuriated by this episode.
Yeah. Well, Tara in the talking head goes, I can't mess this up. What do I do? And I'm like, dude, you idiot. You already did it, man. Like, go. Like, even if you're flaking, go out swinging. We cut to the castle. Natalie to Rob is in a room. And Natalie says, I feel like I haven't talked to you today. And I think Rob just says, oh, lunch is chicken with bones. Okay. And then it's pretty clear, faithful to the most people, and that's it. Anyways, Natalie remains quiet during Rob saying like something, and then we cut to Tara talking to Mark, and Tara says, I think it's Rob, and Natalie comes in, and Natalie's like, the one thing that hit me in the dungeon, why am I still alive? If I didn't have someone protecting me, I would be dead. And Mark says, Rob's protecting you. So now it's like, oh crap, Mark's like getting convinced, and Natalie says, who else? Mora's not fucking saving me. Maybe Candace was giving us a clue. And Mark goes, I wrote that down as well. As well. And so it's like Natalie goes, Natalie says he acted at I don't know what I wrote down there, but Mark says you've got to get out Eric. I don't know. Mark in a talking head says, I've had a lot of trust in Rob, but the chat around the castle is giving me doubts. I noticed a shift in him, and it's a little performative, and I'm nervous if it's him. It's like, whoa, bro, whoa. And we cut to Eric talking to Johnny and Johnny saying Natalie is pushing Rob. Johnny says, maybe Candace was doing us a solid. Eric in a talking head says, Natalie, you're thwarting our plans. We have to get Natalie out. Then we cut to Mora talking to Eric, Johnny, and Rob, and they're talking about Natalie being cold. And Rob's like, yeah, it was a little weird. Johnny in a talking head says, I'm so confused. Rob is who I want, but they have a solid case. It's Natalie. As long as Tara and I are aligned, that's the most important thing. No, that is not the most important thing. It's not that your friendship survives and that you always think that that's not that's what I'm saying. We can't do that is not the most important thing in this game. The most important thing is getting out a traitor if you're a fan.
At this point,
for sure. Yes.
Because it's like the last night you can know if they're a traitor or not. Because obviously, like, you don't want to get rid of all of the traitors because you can't, which is impossible. But you want to keep one. You want to go into the finale because you're going to know at this point that there is 2 traitors left. You should know there's only 2 traitors left. And getting out one of them, that means there's only one traitor you have to get rid of tomorrow, which is going to help your numbers. If not, that means you have to banish, at least 2 people tomorrow to win the game.
You know what I would, if I was one of the traitors at this point, I would have, like, when Tara and Johnny revealed that they were like best besties, I would have talked to one of them and said, oh my God, that's so cool. You're such best friends. But like, have you ever had a fight as a best friend? Like, what's the longest you've gone without talking to either one? Like, there's got to be one fight in their past. And then I would use that fight against them at the round table and go, Johnny, you said you didn't talk to her for a couple of weeks because one time she said you sucked at skating. I would like you say like that could be happening again, Johnny.
You could potentially cause 2 enemies out of that though. Like the best friends might gang up on you if you do that.
Ah, you're right. Damn it. You're right.
Okay. Yeah, it's so hard.
So now it's really between like Rob trying to convince people that it's Natalie and Mora. Rob's like, we have to get Natalie out tonight, and then Tara and Johnny. And Mora's just like, yeah. And Rob says, we are on the same page. And then he goes, hey, chicken was pretty good. Hey, the lunch chicken was pretty good. And then this is the moment. Mora's by herself thinking. The camera's directly on Mora. And as an audience, she's thinking he's a murderer. Or, yeah, the chicken was pretty good. Like, that thought is like, which one is it? And I think it was probably the chicken is pretty good.
I have another question. Do you think Mora knows she needs to get out traitors in order to win the game? Because she's just kind of going with Rob. Just like, oh, yeah, we need to get out Natalie tonight and then Johnny and Tara. Like, does it matter to her if they're traitors or not? Or do you think she's just like, I'll banish whoever Rob wants?
I don't know. I wish I knew Mora in real life. But it's like, I think she's so uniquely gorgeous. And I don't think she's dumb, even though I think she's dumb in this game. And also, I don't know if like she's in love with Rob, like everyone's saying. Like, wait, would there be a if you're in the castle, if you were Rob, would you be able to like pull Mora aside and make out with her without the cameras knowing?
Definitely not without the cameras knowing, but I definitely think like there could be like a romantic spark in the castle, and that maybe has happened before.
But is it going to be another one of those crazy theories? Like they said, Rob communicated with his eyes to Colton that Lisa and Candace were traitors.
No, that I still don't believe that theory.
I still don't believe that
all.
either.
Yeah, it's such a dumb thing.
Yeah, it's like Rob's on the Epstein list, you guys. We saw it with our own eyes. Rob was on the island.
He's only 2 years older than me, so I'm trying to think of doing the math. So Epstein died when he was 21, but when he was in his teenager years, he was on the island, which I think would make him a victim if he was on the Epstein list.
The worst season of Love Island yet is it's like on Epstein's island. Like we bought it. We're going to go on Love Island over here. Yeah.
Oh, look at the hideaway. It's like a second dungeon that we found. God. Oh my God.
By the way, that's nothing to joke about. We need to prosecute all of these people. Okay.
Yes.
So Mora's by herself thinking. You don't know what she's thinking, but Rob just casually just goes, yeah, the chicken was pretty good. Then we cut to Johnny and Tara in the kitchen, and Johnny's like, a lot of them are just way smarter at this game than we are. And Tara's like, I had problems voting for Natalie in the past. And Johnny's like, this is what Natalie does. She's a professional game player, so it could still be her. And Tara's like, but I don't know if we go along with that. And Johnny's like, I also think it could still be Rob. And Tara's like, right? We have to vote together, Johnny, and it'll keep us safe tonight. And Tara in a talking head goes, I do believe it's wrong, but if I'm wrong, they will say Tara swung it that way. Maybe this round table, I sit back and see what happens. I'm like, what are you, an idiot? I love you, Tara. You're gorgeous. You're a brilliant skater, but like, you think you should hang back at this round table when you're the one that brought the idea up?
Yeah, no, like you need to voice your opinion. This is like putting in a new law for the United States of America. It's time to speak up. It's now or never.
Yeah, by the way, this makes us look weak in the eyes of other Olympic countries, you guys. Their performance here makes us look weak.
Fight for your beliefs. Use that First Amendment.
Jeez, Johnny says, this game has taught me how to not trust myself. And I'm like, God, you guys. And then we get, follow me down into the valley night where all the flowers bloom. And so they go in, and Alan's like, the last round table where we banish a player where the identity is revealed. Tomorrow the game will end. And it paused, and Tara's like, okay. So I'm like, Tara talks, and I'm like, oh, God, she decided to go against her not talking. And Tara goes, okay, the only thing I want to start off, I tried it so hard to follow my heart and find traitors. And obviously, Johnny and I came forth and brought everything to the table. So I hope someone can lead the conversation tonight, because I don't want to throw out anything that could be wrong for the faithfuls again. You could have just said nothing. You just made it even worse, Tara.
Oh my gosh. And what's worse is she failed the faithfuls by not speaking her own thoughts and opinions.
Yeah, and then Mark is like, does anyone have to say something, but they don't have the balls to? And Rob is like, okay, well, Natalie, I've been suspicious of you this whole game, but I haven't been suspicious of you this whole game, but the last few days you pulled back. I feel more of a distance that I haven't felt for the first half of the game. So it was really smart that Rob spoke before Natalie could say the same thing, because Natalie immediately goes back, I felt a change in your demeanor too. And Rob's like, well, I'd like to talk about why would you kill gamers? I want to hear what you have to say about it. And Mark says, yeah, to say, like, why would I kill off my fellow gamers doesn't seem smart, because that actually is a brilliant play to kill off your fellow gamers. And Mora's like, yeah, also you kept saying my closest people that I trust are gone. Like, obviously, I'm not a traitor, but we've all lost people. We've all lost people, Natalie. So everybody's against Natalie. And Natalie's like, if I had that person to back me up, it wouldn't be smart for me to get rid of that. You need to have people trust you in this game, and that's how you make it to the end. And yesterday, when I wasn't murdered, I asked myself, why am I still here? I told myself, coming into the castle, I have to look at blind spots, traitor angels looking out for me. And I thought about you, Rob. There's been a shift, and I don't know what it is. At the breakfast table, you've never seemed that defeated before, and Candace was smart. She voted for you, which is weird in this game. We have to pay attention to what makes sense. And Mora's like, she did say it was a throwaway vote, Natalie, a throwaway vote. So Mara immediately defends Rob, and then Mark says, I would be lying if I didn't think Candace voting for Rob is out of left field. She would be the one who has the smarts to create strategy plays like that. So at this point, I thought it looks bad for Natalie, but I still thought there's a little chance it could swing to Rob still. What did you think?
I thought there could have been at least a couple more votes for Rob. And I was just,
there was not one vote for Rob.
There was not a single vote.
There's not one vote for Rob, you guys.
I can't imagine. Oh my gosh, that just baffles my mind. Like, if Rob's Sisterino was at that roundtable, I think he votes for Rob after that argument.
Rob Sisterino would not make it this far in the game.
No, because he's too smart. But like, yeah, and perfect kill by Rob. Like, this also just perfectly sets up. Like, yes, are all the dumb faithful left? No offense to anybody. Yes, and like, this is what Rob set up. This is him. He played a good game up until this point because he kept around the people that he thought he could puppet around, and that's how you put that. I feel like that's part of the reason why Traitors get so like lackluster, because it's just the people that don't know what's going on. Yeah. So I think it would be better if there was better, stronger people that were there throughout the whole season. But I know that's not the formula of Traitors.
Well, that's why I think like Survivor 50 will be interesting to watch, because it is all pretty good. Like there's not like a weak links in this season.
Yeah, there's no weak link,
you know?
And I think, Traitors All-Stars could save that, or like not save it, but like Traitors All-Stars could pull that off where there's not going to be any like weakling towards the end of it, so it's still exciting. And same with if they did like a Traitors all game players, or kind of spinoffs.
Yeah, I don't know what they do with this franchise going forward. Anyways, Rob says, does anyone want me to defend myself to the vote thing with Candace? Like, to the vote thing with Candace, yeah, I thought it was effing weird. It wasn't forceful. It was half-assed. She was kind of throwing it out there, but I'm biased. And Maura's like, yeah, it was weird and inconsistent. And Natalie goes, it is weird. And Mark's like, everything is a grasp. And Natalie's like, but we have to grasp, And like even Tara said, this could be breadcrumbs. And Tara's like, okay, this is where I get confused, you guys. It could have been a breadcrumb or like a wild card. That's where like I second guess myself. And it's like, Tara, we already realized you do not have confidence in yourself. You don't need to keep pointing it out. And Natalie says, Natalie goes, can I just be a little bit honest? I do feel a little like blitzed. I've been trying to trust and listen. And I was told something else by some people here today. And now it's very different. And Tara's like, I think you're talking about our conversation. And Natalie's like, yeah, we bounced off each other. I put my guard down and I was taken for a ride by you. And Tara's like, no. And Natalie says, this is what for me is messy. I'm willing to go against a guy I have been behind since day one of this journey. And so this is where I wrote, all Rob has to do at this point is stay out of their way. Like at this point, the match has been lit. They just stay out of the way. And Tara's like, I'm not saying that we are not. And Natalie goes, let me finish, Tara. I was open and willing to go there, but you come in here and start going a different way. And Tara goes, Johnny, we need to speak up here. Like, why would then speak up, Tara? Johnny, we only have one voice. Speak for me, Johnny. Yeah. And Johnny says, I listened to you guys have this conversation. And I said, we have to look at everything, but like, I haven't committed either way to who. And Natalie says, I'm sketched out right now. Like, it's so easy how you go from one to another. And Rob says, Natalie, you're very smart. And then he goes, Natalie, you're very smart. And then he turns to Tara, you're smart too, Tara. But it's interesting. You're coming in here like Natalie, like with a plan, Natalie. I'm hearing that now and it's weird. And Natalie goes, but think about the whole day I've been with them. I've felt isolated from the rest of the group because of them. And Maura says, it's been a day. What are you going to keep listening to? Tara? You have to come up with names, but no reason to back it up, Tara. You were convinced Natalie to go with you. She said you made her go with her and you have no evidence. And Natalie says, you are really smart and I'm sorry I let my guard down. And then Alan jumps in, the time for talk is over. Does somebody want to use the power of the dagger? And obviously Rob raises his hand. And Tara in a talking head goes, I don't know what to do. I had a strong theory, but Natalie is glaring at me. She's doing things that seem suspicious to me. And they do show Natalie glaring at Tara.
Oh, but I think it's justified. I'd be so freaking pissed. Like,
it's totally justified.
And like, Natalie literally got blitzed by everybody. Like, everybody was going at Natalie, even though like she was talking with Tara all day and Tara didn't help her at all and just let her be attacked by everybody. And then she just like backed away.
I was thinking, like, if that situation arose, would it have been better for Natalie to be like, okay, this is what happens. We go in, I'm going to throw Rob's name out. Tara, you immediately agree with me and say, this is why I think. Johnny, you come in at that moment and then throw the ball back to me. Can you do that?
You absolutely can do that, and I think that's a good strategy for future roundtables, is just, like, discuss how you're going to plan out the roundtable. Like, I think of Traitors, like, 8 hours a week, and I've thought about, like, if I ever got to go back, like, what game plan would I have to make, like, the roundtable not exciting, but, like, really attack a person, like, because it's like playing moves. It's like, I'm gonna shoot my shot, and then right after I go, you go, and then it's just like we all attack on all ends, and you can really get someone banished with doing that.
Yeah. Yeah. I would want to engineer it. If you're going to engineer a vote, really engineer it, game it out. So Rob says this is a huge moment. Anytime Candace, brought my name up, it's a game of paranoia. I don't like it one bit. So even Rob admits he's paranoid. At this point, paranoia has like set hold for everybody. Natalie in a talking head says, I'm so angry. Everything in me wants to jump across the table and grab Tara, but I can't do that. I have to figure out what's the best. I mean, wouldn't that be amazing? I mean, it would be horrible, but wouldn't that be like dynamic if like she did hop across the table? Like, I wonder if it's ever got it. I wonder in the future if it's ever going to get that insane where somebody does hop a table, like a housewife.
It's a big table, and there's like cameras like underneath it, like within the middle. So I wouldn't do that because I don't know how much money you could be breaking right there. But
Yeah.
it's an expensive table. Don't jump the table. Run around the table.
Yeah, run around the table. So Natalie says it's time for voting. Natalie says, Tara, you did an amazing job at making me feel like I was a part of something that was for faithfuls. So this is where Natalie blows it because she should have voted Rob. If you think it's Rob, you should have voted Rob.
I also think, too, she knew she was like everyone was against her and she had no shot at winning. So I think she was just like, well, if I'm going to lose, I'm going to make sure you lose as well because I'm pissed.
But wouldn't that completely disintegrate what they're saying about Candace giving us a clue? If you're just doing like a vote to like spite somebody, that's not giving us a clue unless you think Tara is a traitor at this point.
I mean, you could also think that because she just backed out all of a sudden at the end of the day.
Yeah. Rob says, and has the dagger. He goes, I voted for you, Natalie, knowing that you had this like plan in place to come at me. You didn't talk to me at all. It feels odd. So that was very justified in why you would vote Natalie if you're Rob. Mark says, Natalie, I voted for you, just how strong and smart and strategic, but not 100%. And if we're wrong, then wow. And Tara says, Natalie, I voted for you. I have a gut instinct on you from the beginning, and I feel attacked here. So now Tara's back to her gut instinct, you guys. Now she's back to gut instinct. And she feels attacked, so she voted for Natalie. So it's 4 against Natalie, 1 against Tara. Maura votes for Natalie. Natalie received the most votes and is banished, but we get to find out the rest of the votes. Eric Nam votes Natalie, and he puts a little heart on her name. And then Johnny goes to vote, and she's like, don't say sorry, Johnny. When you put up the card, don't fucking say sorry. I don't want to hear it. And then Johnny reveals Natalie with a heart as well. They go to the circle of truth, and she goes, my whole life I wanted to be so strong, and I try really hard to present as tough. And that comes from... this comes from a feeling of being ruthless, cutthroat, but today a gamer got played. I'm a faithful. And Mark throws his card like, and Mark's like, I'm sorry, Nat. And Alan says, you guys failed. This is the last chance to oust a traitor and know their identity. And, there's the last ever murder tonight. And Rob says, we're fucked. And Tara says, I truly don't want to play this game anymore. I feel like a fool. I'm okay with being murdered tonight. And Mark hugs Tara and it's okay. And Tara cries. And Mark says, it's just a game. And Tara says, I just feel so pathetic. What did you think of these, the final moments of the round table?
I felt bad after. I loved Natalie exit, like the whole Natalie exit. I was pissed and I felt like it was justified. And then seeing Mark's reaction, I loved that, like him throwing his chalkboard. But then I did feel bad for Tara after everything that happened. Like I was like, yeah, that's probably just a mental mind fuck. Like she is totally demolished, like emotionally and like beat up, and she does not want to play the game anymore. Like I fully believe her when she says she does not want to play anymore. But also too, like as a player, it's like, is this a Danielle Reyes situation where she's overreacting? Like I probably wouldn't think that. Like Mark,
no, I don't know. I mean, I tend to think this is genuine, and like if you screw up this many times in a row, like I think also like she is naturally. I have a feeling, I don't know her in person, but I have a feeling maybe she's insecure at certain aspects of life, and people pick up on that stuff and they use that. And I think, I think that it's like the hardest for those type of players to play this game.
Yeah, and I think Mark Ballas like read it perfectly. Like if she is faking me, like I will let her have the Oscar or whatever. Because I said the same thing about Trishelle. Like that's why Trishelle was my number one ally right from the get go. After she banished Peppermint, and she felt terrible about it. I was like,
Yeah.
there's no way she guns for somebody right away. So that's why I'm like, okay, Mark, Johnny, and Tara. One of those three has to go. I think in this next episode because
Yeah.
I think they all three of them are going to be in an alliance.
So Tara goes to the kitchen. She's still freaking out and crying. And, you know, Rob in a talking head says, Natalie was my toughest to date, but Natalie messed up and it made her look guilty. I like her a lot. I had to do what I had to do. And then Mark and Rob are lying on the pool table. And Mark's like, you really don't think it's Tara? And Rob's like, I don't either, but I also can't take that chance. And Mark's like, I'm telling you now, bro, her reaction was real. That isn't a performance. And those tears, if it's, you know, like that's an Oscar performance. And then he says, Eric was very quiet tonight. Eric said nothing. Eric has played this quiet game, and Christian maybe was right, which I don't know why you didn't think Christian was right like today. But we cut to Tara, Johnny, and Maura. And Johnny goes, if I murder tonight, avenge me, Tara. And Johnny says, Eric doesn't throw out names unnoticed. You know, like I think Rob and Eric are the two remaining traitors. So Johnny nails it. Johnny nails it in his talking head. And Johnny says Eric has little or no attention on him ever. We cut to the traitors' turret and they talk about their performance this day. And Rob's like, yo, bro, you didn't say anything at that table. You're going to need to say something. And Eric's like, I just didn't know if opening my mouth against Natalie would be like, it would be weird. Alan comes in and reveals that the last kill is going to be a scorcher. You have to make your decision to murder right now. And then I'm going to bring everybody back from their slumber and they're going to murder that person like out there in the open in front of everyone. So you got to act surprised. You don't want to throw off your game at this point. Robin in Talking Head says, all of us players have gotten so close. I'm far more sensitive than people think I am. I have a big heart. It's just a game. We could kill Johnny, splitting up the skating twins. We have to split them up. Tara, she's a great distraction. Mark, he trusts me a lot, and he's not getting banished. Also, he said a lot about you today, Eric. And they said, Mark's our best ally, but also our weakest link. And then they talked about Maura. She's gullible. She's the biggest part of our plan. And it's like the hardest time to be a traitor, but everybody is culpable, they say. Rob is feeling a lot of guilt, and then he's like, let's do this, bro. And then we cut to the coffin outside, and Maura's like, I'm dead. I'm looking at the coffin. I'm dead. And Alan says, I have upsetting news. And Rob to Johnny whispers, I'm not coming back tomorrow. And Alan's like, while you rested in your rooms, the traitors met and picked their final victim. They will be murdered in front of everyone. And Tara says, it's me. And Rob's like, I'd rather go out like this, honestly. So Rob keeps like talking at Johnny's back, like, I'd rather go out like this, honestly. And then they said, I can now reveal the faithful that was murdered is. And did you notice it looked like Alan was tearing up? He had like tears in his eyes.
I might have to watch that back.
I can now reveal the faithful that was murdered. What? Like he was like, how to see? There was tears in his eyes while he was saying this, and I was like, Alan's giving a great performance here. So yeah, I think they're going to murder Johnny.
You think so?
Yeah, I think they're going to murder Johnny and completely use the fact that Tara has gone fully crazy, like against her, because she's just going to keep spinning out.
But I think that's such a bad murder. I do, because I feel like
you got to split them up, though. You got to split them up.
You got to split them up, but like nobody's going to believe Tara is a traitor. Unless
she's double bluffing, she's giving an Oscar performance, and Johnny is on to them in the talking head. He nails it. So that is the smart move to get him out because he has put it together.
It is. Yeah, I think this is why I go back to Maura. But like again, you don't want Johnny and Tara. And,
no, you got to get one of the skaters out.
This is going to be a tough battle for the traitors this next week. I really do think that, especially since Johnny just said it's got to be Rob and Eric. And
how do you make this final episode? Like, I mean, because obviously they have the challenge, they'll have a big challenge, but like, how do you make it thrilling? This final episode, how do you make it like? Because they have to make it so that if Rob wins, you've got to edit it in a way that you make the audience think that they are super onto Rob. Like, it could be Rob, they could get him out. Like, you got to make it obvious. And if Rob loses, you got to make it look like Rob's going to win it the whole way through. Like, so I don't know which way the edit's going.
I also feel like they gave him a backdoor this episode by him saying, I feel guilty right now. Like, I'd be okay.
Or did you give him a hero edit? Like, he's the traitor, but he's also has a heart of gold.
Or it could be that, but it could also be like, he is feeling guilty, so he kind of threw his own game at the end. I don't know. Like, he played a miraculous game up until now. We'll see how this next episode's gonna be crazy. This finale I'm way more excited for than last year. I will
Really?
say that. Yeah, for season 3.
Yeah.
Because we had
trying to remember
Dolores left, and then we had Lord Ivar,
and we had
Brittany,
Dylan Efron and
Dylan
Gabby.
Efron, and Gabby, and then Brittany as the traitor. And I was just like, I think at that point too, like all of the OG traitors were gone.
Oh,
and
you're
it was
right.
Just Brittany.
Yeah.
And like I really do feel like Traitors is at its best is when you have like an original traitor still there. I feel like the game kind of ends once, you know, it's just a recruit running the show.
Yeah.
I think it's at its peak when there's an original traitor still there, and that's Rob. Like I would, if it was just Eric right now, I'd be like, yeah, this show's over.
Damn. Well, this has been a lot of fun as always. Send out some positive vibes for Bergie this week. He's got his midterms, and then remember to vote in the midterms in November. Don't confuse the two. And I'll put all of Bergie's information. Remember, he's on CAMEO, so hit him up with cameos. He will say anything and do anything on those cameos. Birthday wishes, divorces, whatever. You know, if you're playing games of Traitor at home with friends, he'll banish somebody from a cameo. So
I've done that, and I've also started off Traitors games.
Oh, that would be a blast act. That's actually not a bad idea. That would be really fun to have you do that. Anyways, okay, you guys have a great rest of your week, and I will talk to you guys later. Bye.
Thanks for coming.
Oh, wait. Sorry. How do I?
Hi, everybody.
Okay.